What's good, people? It's Ocean here. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to the video. What's good, people? It's Ocean here. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I think it's episode 22, and we've got Steven Cymatics, or Steven from Cymatics, on. If you've never heard of Cymatics before, they're a huge, I guess you can call them a sample company, a huge sample company. They make really cool producer packs, and they give away a lot of stuff for free, and he runs that alongside his partner Drew. And we get into basically how he's been able to build Cymatics into this huge empire that it is today, as well as his recent realization of just focusing on one thing and how it's been able to help him skyrocket what he's got going on instead of focusing on all these other things. It's a really interesting podcast. He's a really smart guy, and of course a bunch of gems will be dropped. Let's get straight into the podcast.
Ocean gang go drown.
What's good, people? It's Ocean here. Welcome back to the Ocean podcast. Today we've got Steven from Cymatics. What's good, bro? How's everything?
How's it going, man? I'm excited, dude. I didn't, it's funny. I didn't expect to do any interviews while I'm down here in Miami, but we just made a little makeshift studio set in the kitchen.
Oh, well, you at Miami, what, just like chilling and that?
Dude, it's funny, man. I go through these phases where we'll do a bunch of work, put out a pack, which is launching a new product, so an insane amount of work. And then after it goes out, we usually take a couple days to chill out. And for me, it's not that I need a break as much as like having, like I'm down here 10 days, right? In this like nice spot in Miami, rooftop pool, all that. Having 10 days to kind of like chill out, fuck around. It lets you think instead of work. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I like to like have some time to fucking just think about shit,
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, but yeah, man, just chilling down here.
Nice, man. I mean, I'm sure it's a vibe in Miami. You got the beach, you got the sunshine and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried about coronavirus, but like I'm staying relatively safe in this spot, because it's, pretty much the fucking epicenter, But I was starting to be cooped up at my house, but yeah, man, it's very superficial. Like, I don't know, something about Miami, it's very superficial, all about money, looks, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Flashy. I don't give a fuck. I have fun at the pool and stuff, I'm not trying to show off, but you definitely get those vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Is the situation still kind of like strange and weird down there? You still have to wear like face masks and everything?
Yeah, I think so. Like Georgia, you got a bunch of like rednecks straight up in Georgia who are just not about wearing a mask, and they're like fighting all this. And Miami, it's a little more in the culture down here, so it's not like weird to wear one. You know what I'm saying? So like where I'm from, Georgia, people are like resistant. They're like fucking fighting about it. Here, like everybody wears it out in the streets everywhere. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Before we like get into everything, let's take it all the way back to young Steven, growing up, getting into music and that. Let's go through like your origin stories on that.
Yeah, man, for sure, dude. So essentially, I wasn't really passionate about music. I bumped into music production when I was 18 or 19, something like that. So it was a while before I got into it, and I was actually a big gamer, man. Like I'm still pretty hardcore into gaming, but dude, I was like real serious about it, So always trying to go to tournaments, or I'm always trying to like compete, you know what I'm saying, or try to climb to like in StarCraft, I was in like the top 1% in the world, like playing like super hardcore, trying to play like esports and stuff. Always taking on random shit and kind of getting good at things, and then kind of going on to the next thing. And and for me, I have a lot of fun. Honestly, even with today with the music industry and stuff, it's not about music or the industry or business or anything like that. For me, I just like picking up something new and trying to master it. You see what I'm saying? And so I had always been picking up different games, picking up different activities, hobbies, all kinds of stuff. So when I bumped into music, it was really exciting because it offered a lot of that. There was a lot to master. You see what I'm saying? I felt the potential. I was like, wow, you could really learn a lot in this program. Like at first it's kind of daunting, but then you get into it, you start learning stuff. So I was coming back home from a family vacation, and essentially I'm either going to do one of two things. I'm either going to reinstall World of Warcraft and start playing WoW again, right? Or I was like, you know what? I can fuck around with that FL Studio thing. I remember a buddy of ours growing up, he had showed me one time. I'd played around with like the drum beat thing. I was like, I guess I'll do this. I'll download the trial of FL, start playing around. Man. And then after that, I was having fun. And then I reached out to the only person I knew who had FL Studio and knew how to use it, which was Drew. He had been making beats, selling them on SoundClick. And I just remember like, oh, that guy I went to middle school with, like Drew, you know what I'm saying? Hit him up. We started playing Halo together, started making a little music together. Then we made a music project, did that for a couple years. Kind of a cool thing about that is that Drew had already been making music for 4 or 5 years. So for me, I kind of cut the learning curve a bit. I didn't have to take a long, long time. You know what I'm saying? For me, I was so good at picking up different things, and music felt very like music. I tried to pick up guitars and shit, and I was terrible. But a program, I was like, oh, this is a program. You know what I'm saying? It kind of put it into a different perspective. I was like, oh, there's like video editing or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And when I put it in that context, I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense to me in my head. You know what I'm saying? But in general, Drew helped me out a lot, got me leveled up. After we split off, I kind of went into a phase where I was doing my own music project for a while, and I couldn't figure out how people were popular, how people were getting exploding, blowing up. So I started DMing all these people who were popping on YouTube channels, getting featured on these music blogs. I'm like, how are you guys doing it? How'd this channel post you? Like, I'm essentially trying to find anything I can, like trying to find some data.
Yeah.
And I started watching these music conferences. I found out about a behind the scenes thing of Flume, where his team kind of showed us, or it was an interview of his team, and I was seeing like the graphic designer, the branding guy, the touring guy, and I was like, oh shit, there's a lot more than what meets the eye. See what I'm saying? Got into that for a while, decided to start a business. You know, I failed at fucking business for a while, like terribly. I was trying to start supplement stores online because my aunt owned an organic grocery store. I tried to do, I was a sign holder. I mean, I was trying to build websites for people, social media marketing. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then, man. And then after I failed for that for a while, the magic is when I re-hit up my old music buddy, Drew, combined some of this business knowledge with a lot of the stuff that Drew had been doing with sound design and stuff, and we started Cymatics, man. The rest is history.
Yeah, just like that. Man, what kind of businesses was you doing beforehand? Because I know, like, once you go down that internet marketing rabbit hole, you kind of just like try everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, so for me, the first thing that happened was like, I don't know, like my family owns a lot of businesses. So I have an aunt that owns a restaurant, one that owns a grocery store, another cousin owns a chiropractic office, another cousin has a lawyer office, and I started thinking about it. I was like, dude, the people in my family who make the most money are not the people that necessarily went to school. It's the people that run businesses. There was such everybody's saying go to school, but the obvious thing, if I was looking at it, is it wasn't school, it was running a business. It was so clear to my head. Like I was looking at it, I was like, something's not clicking here. Everybody's saying, Steven, go to school, but the people that are making money run a business. That was that was first off, the big thing when I started, before I got into internet marketing and all that stuff, was just thinking about like, oh, businesses, even a shitty business can make a fuck ton of money. You see what I'm saying? So I was thinking about that. And then honestly, so then I started doing the math. I'm like, man, because I was kind of, young kid. I was like, man, I could run Facebook accounts for people. If I run one for my aunt's business, I can charge them $300 to run their Facebook. And I was like, man, what if I did that for all their businesses? I would make like, whatever, $1,500 a month. And I was like, dude, if I can make $1,500 a month managing a Facebook page, I can just make music forever. You see what I'm saying? And I was like, I can just have hella time to make music. I don't ever have to get a job. And that was kind of the start of it. And eventually I was like, wait a minute, I don't even have to make music. I can just run a business, make a lot of money, and just do music like whenever I want. And then that led me down doing business for a couple of years, trying that. I was trying to build websites, pitch people and let me building their website for them. I was pitching, like I said, I tried to build a website for my aunt's organic grocery store, a flower shop. I mean, dude, it was a fucking mess if I'm being honest, but every little venture I did from the early days of the hobbies to even those failed businesses, they would essentially, I'd walk away knowing something, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I'd walk away knowing something. And then eventually, when all that shit I learned in music production combined with all this new business shit is when we popped off pretty much, because it was really, what happened is that the business stuff was useful, but I didn't fucking understand supplement people. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't vibe with them. But when it came to the producers, I was like, oh, I'm selling to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we started, we kind of reference like, oh, Steven and Drew, what do we have problems with? You know what I'm saying? Oh, we had this problem, that problem, sound design, good drum samples, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So then we're like, okay, we're just essentially scratching our own itch. So it became a lot easier, and I think that's one of the reasons why it works so well.
Yeah, I went through almost like a similar journey. I kind of went down this rabbit hole of internet marketing, and I literally tried everything that could be tried online. Man, I started doing like Amazon FBA, Teespring.
Trying it all.
FB ads for
Dude, I remember those
clients,
Teespring days. I
everything,
was
man.
looking into the Teespring shit too. People like doing like Facebook ad campaigns and then
Yeah,
making
there
some
was
T-shirts,
a
making them money.
yeah, like 2014, 2015. Those was like the golden years for Teespring, where people were just absolutely killing it.
Dude, it would be
Because
like a St.
Facebook
Patrick's
ads
Day.
was
It'd be like St.
yeah,
Patrick's Day putting up a St. Patrick's Day T-shirt that would use like
yeah,
their first name, and you would like look up their first name on the back end, and then like I don't know,
yeah.
some
And you
crazy
used to
shit.
be able to target that on Facebook ads with like the IDs and shit.
Yeah.
But then they got rid of all that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There was a lot of interesting stuff going on. I mean, I still, to this day, I think it's gotten easier. You know what I'm saying? I think it's easier to build an audience because, I mean, honestly, you just got so many tools. There's no blockers. And you could take whatever journey you want to. If you want to be a YouTuber producer guy, you can do that. If you want to start a company like Cymatics, I mean, you can fucking do it. If you want to start like a podcast like this right here, it's like everything is so easy. I mean, we're on our iPhones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Everything is much more possible these days. So how did you so after you've done all like your businesses and that, and then you decided to get back into the music production, how did the whole Cymatics thing come about?
Well, I remember Drew, when me and Drew relinked up, we didn't start it right away, but what happened is that we were talking, I was kind of telling him about Shopify, because I was building a Shopify store at the time. I'm like, dude, this Shopify thing is really fucking, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking, I was like, dude, you should sell, I told him straight up, I was like, you should sell your sounds. Because at the time, I wasn't interested in starting Cymatics. I was like trying to be a media company, right? I was like, dude, you should sell your sounds, man. I was like, you can sell them for this and that, do whatever. And so, you know, we kind of start hanging out a little bit. He starts his Shopify store called Cymaticssound.com, Cymaticssounds.com. It's definitely not available anymore. And so he starts selling his sounds, and he makes a little bit of money. I think, you know, made like $500 or something like that in a couple months, you know, but I was like, damn, that's pretty impressive, you know what I'm saying? And I, at the time, was working on a bunch of different projects, and essentially I was going to do some marketing for Drew and help him, you know? But one thing that happened is that because my company really wasn't working, my two friends I was working with essentially walked out the door. And they were like, hey, this is not working out. You know, we're gonna go ahead and quit. We're wasting our time here. And I thought they were being fucking wusses. I was like, oh, this is some stupid shit, whatever. And essentially, I hit up the person. I was talking to Drew. I was like, yo, do you want to team up? You know what I'm saying? And we had a couple different concepts. We were going to potentially sell dreadlock beads. Sounds weird, but you can order them for like a penny on Alibaba.
That sounds so niche.
Yeah, we're going to flip him. He had a dreadlock Instagram at like 40K. Yeah, he had a pretty big dreadlock community, so we're going to sell these dread beads. That was one of the ideas. We had the idea of starting a glass blowing website where you sell custom glass. Like there's a high-end market for that shit, because one of our buddies did that. And then the third idea we had was, you know, hey, why don't we do something with that, the sounds? You know what I'm saying? So maybe we could take it to, like, treat it, you know, be serious about it. So then we, you know, ended up choosing Cymatics. We spent like a month preparing the website, our first set of products, and then what we did was we essentially launched Cymatics.fm, and that was like the Cymatics you know today. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, we just fucking kept growing, kept making a wave, because people weren't sharing presets in the EDM scene. People were secretive about their sound design. They wouldn't show you how you made a sound. So we're like, all right, we'll show you how you fucking make a sound. That makes no sense. Being secretive makes no fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, just started sharing everything. Everything people are keeping secret, we're like, fuck it, let's share it all. Share every single tip, everything that people try to keep as a, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. People used to be very secretive about their samples, their presets, what plugins they're using. We're like, you know what? Let's do the exact opposite. Let's just try to help everybody with as much as possible, show them every single technique there is, everything. And taking that approach really made a difference for us. You know what I'm saying?
So when you started Cymatics, was it more of like more geared towards the EDM community and that EDM kind of music, or was it just everyone?
100%, yeah. Because me and Drew were making EDM back in the day. You know, he started off with beats for the first 4 or 5 years, then he moved over to EDM for a while, which was really important, because one of the reasons that, I mean, for example, our drums and stuff sound so good. Drew's a fucking mad scientist when it comes to sound design and like drum design, tweaking little transients, like fucking with little tiny transients, making sure everything's perfect, because that's kind of like something that came from the EDM era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was speaking to an EDM producer recently, and he was telling me, like, if you're a hip hop producer, you could probably make like 5 to 10 beats a day, but EDM, they take ages on their beats, just like really crafting sounds from scratch and design and everything.
I remember, working like 100 hours on one song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I don't think that's the optimal way, by the way. I think that's one of EDM's flaws is the perfectionist a bit. You know what I'm saying? I think the new thing of being able to just pump out as much as possible, because at the end of the day, a lot of times those best songs come out of like sometimes like a golden 40-minute session where you're in flow and you're just pumping shit. And most of it comes out right there, and then the EDM guys will just nitpick to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Versus the hip hop guys
spending weeks and stuff on songs and that's a long time.
It's kind of like an outdated. I don't think it's as good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I believe that as well. But so what was the steps that you took to grow Cymatics in the early days and get it really popping?
A lot of guerrilla marketing, like
okay.
Nothing that you would. Okay, so first off, we were kind of in a golden age of Facebook ads, and I started with literally about $5 a day, and I was pumping that shit while it was hot. I don't think it's hot anymore. Okay, so let me go ahead and say that I'm probably done with Facebook for a little while at least. But back in the day, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so if someone was to run Facebook, let's say someone was starting to run their sample company, you wouldn't recommend Facebook ads these days, as like the first form of marketing.
I probably no. I wouldn't say spend. Don't spend any money. I don't think you should. I think people who think they can just spend money to win, they usually can't. You know, they're just going to burn a lot of cash. I mean, shit. If you do know something, tell me, because I'll spend the money. I'll spend 100,000 times as much to make it work. But usually, it's hard work that kind of gets you to that next level. But for us, it was guerrilla marketing, man. Like so even with our music project, we were always kind of those guerrilla marketers, like finding out ways to like, do something crazy and try to get exposure out there, right? So we used to scrape, we used to go to every single music blog on the internet, as well as or just like websites, as well as like YouTube channels. We collect them all. We would send out our music submissions to like hundreds and hundreds of people. And even when we got started Cymatics, we were in Facebook groups nonstop. Every single Facebook group we're posting, we're talking to people. We built our own Facebook group. We had like this little weird like Facebook communities where it all kind of started with Facebook groups. I think Facebook groups are still amazing for when you get started. When you hit our scale now, it's not as good, but like if you need some fans, I think it's fucking amazing,
No, yeah, because they're definitely very engaged.
Well, you don't have to pay any money.
They go hard. They go hard in the Facebook groups. They're probably like on it.
Yeah, people spam the shit out of them too, but we were like,
100%.
We were trying everything, man. I was even adding. So one of our strategies was adding friends. Back in the day, you would just add as many fucking friends as possible.
Oh, what, straight to the Facebook ads account and then just like post on your ad account?
Just add a Steven Cymatics Facebook account. That's where my brand was born. We had a Steven Cymatics and a Drew Cymatics.
Yeah.
And I would go to the groups and I would just add people, their other producer friends, and I would put out free stuff, and then people kind of we started building a name for ourselves. I would go to my competitors' ads, right? So if I saw somebody running an ad for massive presets or something, I would just go to the ad and go add everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then once we maxed out every account at 5,000 friends, we would just keep making more accounts. We're like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So we would do all kinds of crazy, like little shit like that, because we just didn't have any. Like we started with less than $200. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is pretty much some website costs, and everything else was just being scrappy.
Yeah, no, that's proper like from the ground up. So what was like the turning point then that things just started to really take off?
Honestly, man, so something I really recommend in everything, because I see a lot of similarities. Like I've gotten good at a lot of stuff, and I still approach this to this day. But I think one of the most important things is honestly, if you can find a mentor, it'll skip you so much fucking time. And for us, there was this guy, Neil Patel. We invested like some consulting, but he's a super big marketing guy. And the guys on his team work with the young Cymatics and really showed us the ropes. Here's how you present your brand, your products, and all that kind of good stuff. You see what I'm saying? It was a really big, for us, it really taught us how to do marketing at a really great scales, because I think it's super important when you're building a brand, and then having that combined with, a great product, right? So for producers listening to this, that might be your song. You got to have a great song to start with. And for us, it's having great products in the producer world that people really enjoy. At the end of the day, if you're doing marketing, you don't have great products, like it's just not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have great products, for example, you have a great song, you're going to get a lot of word of mouth after somebody listens to it. Or if I have a great product, after somebody uses one of our packs, they're going to tell their buddies. You know what I'm saying? And I think that element is really important. So for us, we kind of got some mentoring from those guys, and we just started skyrocketing growth. And then And then we got stuck for a while. You know, we were trying different stuff, and I think one recent breakthrough is that we stopped doing so much shit. I used to have a
Yeah.
podcast. I used to have events, all this stuff. Now we just focus on making the best damn sample packs, melody packs, and now we got plugins in the motion. And the idea was that I stopped doing content. You know what I'm saying? And I used to we put out 1,000 pieces of content like 2019, I think it was 2018, 2019, over 1,000 pieces of content on Instagram. And I realized that my future isn't to be a big YouTuber, big Instagrammer. I'm not the next David Dobrik or anything, Mr. Beast or anything like that. You know, I think we're the next like Apple-like brand in the music industry for like software and eventually hardware. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to create like really, really great tools and products, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So, so yeah, after you got your mentor, Neil Patel and all that, and you started implementing that stuff, how did you know when to like, how can I put this? How did you know what the next step was? Because I know a lot of people probably would have got comfortable, you know, just doing what they're doing, killing it, but not needing to, you know, grow. How did you know, like, okay, we need to move on now?
Well, dude, couple things. So I think any project or any company, whatever the fuck, goes through a couple phases, right? There's the trying out shit phase. You're experimenting, and you're often chasing every fucking person's idea, nonstop. I'm chasing, here, there. Oh, this person did this. I'm going to try to do that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see billions of Cymatics clones. Like, nonstop, I see little mini Cymatics clones, right? Or stuff like that. And I used to do it too. I used to chase people nonstop. And I think there's a phase where you try and do a lot of stuff. It doesn't matter where the inspiration comes. You just do as much stuff as possible. If you're trying to go to that next level, usually the answer isn't from without. I believe the answer is from within. Because after you've tried a bunch of stuff, you take a look at everything you've tried. You know, some people keep looking and copying others and never take a second to self-reflect on what they've tried and what has worked and what hasn't for them. The right answer, for example, for you, Ocean, is way different than the right answer for me. Completely different worlds. You know what I'm saying? I have like a business partner. I have experience with certain types of things. I have certain types of things are my strength. And I've told you this on phone calls before. If I tried to be a YouTuber like you would fucking rock me. You see what I'm saying? And I have to kind of stay in my lane. I think a lot of going to the next level and something that's been pivotal for us is more understanding what we're good at, what's most effective for us, what have we kind of been chasing that hasn't been working as good, you know? And really becoming hyper aware of what our own strengths are and what we're best at. And if we focus on those things, we'll do really fucking well. And that's how we've been kind of turning up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I know you guys were pumping out all that content and stuff, and it was doing well. Like people were finding it very, very valuable. Was it something hard to kind of step away from, or was it just like, I really don't enjoy this, let's not?
Just didn't convert to dollars as good as we wanted.
That's fair.
Although it worked well, it doesn't work as well as putting out an amazing product. You know what I'm saying? And putting more time into the product itself, putting more time into making sure people download it. Because like my magic moment isn't anybody watching this video, isn't anybody looking at my Instagram and feeling good about themselves because they got some fucking production tip. My magic moment, when Cymatics has a magic moment with a producer, it's when you get our resource into your computer. And once it's in your computer and you make one of the best songs you've made or you get inspired, that's when you have your magic moment with Cymatics. And with our plugins, it's going to be when you download the plugin, it feels amazing. So like my magic moment wasn't content. Even though it works, content works. And it makes sense for a lot of people. It gives people a lot of magic moment. But for us, that was not where we were meant to be per se. And it's a weird thing to say for a guy who pitched content for quite a while. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I barely post anymore. I don't really do. I used to do shit like this all the time. I don't even get on interviews or anything like that anymore because I'm just focused on, you know, a lot of behind the scenes shit, you know, talking to people behind the scenes in the industry. I help people out. I try and come up with cool campaign ideas, launching the next products. I just got off the phone with the guy for our plugin that's going to be launching soon. A couple of our developers kind of working on it. What he's doing with that, a whole nine, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And I think content, man, it was easy to step away from, but I was also burnt out. I mean, dude, content's fucking hard, straight up.
Yeah, it can be a long process.
And I'm going to go ahead and say Instagram is not that good, in my opinion. I think YouTubers are way better. Like if I was a YouTuber and I posted 1,000 times and I was popping off, I'd probably keep going. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, I'd agree. I think the conversion is just way better. You're able to build a much deeper connection through YouTube
Yeah, I
than
mean,
you
just
can on Instagram. I've seen that for myself anyway. But then again, I'm probably not the best person to look at when it comes to Instagrams. I don't post that much.
I don't think it's that good. I would say post 0 times. Just keep
Yeah,
like going down. Like, dude, it kind of gives you a headache to post sometimes if you feel like you need to post
yeah.
something.
I,
But like
I
YouTube,
feel like Instagram is more like it's just for when people want to check you out, like a quick little resume browse. Like, is this guy legit or not? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and it's kind of funny because it's like a definitely like a wow, this person has followers. Like,
Yeah,
I remember looking at people. I got 250,000 followers, but now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just because I'm focused on so much more important shit, in my opinion, and just Instagram over time has just not been one of them. I mean,
yeah.
dude, we worked together on some shit. I've been kind of obsessing over YouTube because I just think YouTube's fucking awesome. I think the YouTubers
Hmm.
like the I think mentally it's a lot easier. I think when you post every day on Instagram, you're mentally it's just not as like easy as it is for YouTube because you're just posting every single day. But like your YouTube video that does well probably still does well sometimes a year after if it carries. Like
Yeah,
every single Instagram post is dead in a day and a half. You have to post again to get eyeballs, right? You have to
yeah.
post again to
That's
get
a true
eyeballs because
point.
the newsfeed just gets pushed down. But YouTube videos, you can get in the search algorithm. I mean, the related videos like
Yeah,
it has a longer shelf lifespan. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
Makes a lot more sense in my opinion.
Yeah. Did you ever play around with TikTok at all?
A little bit, but that's like even worse version in my opinion of Instagram. Like what I was complaining about, it's even worse. It's
Mm,
even less shit's given. And by the way, Drew's had TikToks with over 1 million likes, gone viral
yeah,
on there and stuff. Like I said, a lot of those social medias, in my opinion, they're like kind of like it gives you a good feeling. Oh, I got a bunch of likes on this shit, but I swear it does not do that great in terms of pushing the needle unless you figured out some sort of cool formula. There's people out there who are crushing it. Don't get me wrong, right?
yeah,
But for the general person, I don't think it's that. I think it's a little overrated. I think Instagram followers, like producers, if you guys think that getting 100K is going to make a difference for you, and I guarantee it's not.
yeah. I would agree as well. 100K on YouTube is a lot different to
What
100K on Instagram,
what would you
or even
say?
50K.
What would you say one YouTube subscriber versus how many Instagram subscribers is that equal?
Honestly, maybe like 1,000
1,000,
on
literally.
YouTube. Honestly, because yeah, I can't. Instagram is not the same kind of. How can I put this? It doesn't have that same kind of feeling that YouTube does. With YouTube, I can really engage with people. Instagram, not so much, especially on the posting side. On stories, yeah, somewhat, but then you don't even reach that much
Because
people compared
people are
to
taking it
YouTube.
shit when they're looking at your Instagram, and people are like sitting
Yeah,
down
no
eating
one's taking
food.
that seriously as
Hey,
much as YouTube.
yeah, I'm telling you, man, I've been on a new wave, and I'm done with IG pretty much. Like I still post whatever, when I got shit coming out, but
Yeah,
like I'm like hyper focused on other shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Would you consider starting to post on YouTube again, or you don't even want to like
No,
bother with any
long
content?
term, I do want a strategy for YouTube that probably is something around a kind of curated content, that highly curated content or something, maybe more like a Genius or something. YouTube is
Mm,
something I do plan on tackling, and I probably plan on tackling Instagram. I just don't think it's that hot right now. Like it's not that good.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I definitely want to do something on YouTube. I don't have time.
Yeah,
Cymatics
no,
like
that's fair.
Cymatics' core team is like 8 people, and then from there we have
Hmm.
like one guy manages like 30 producers. One other person manages a handful of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, but the
Yeah,
core teams is not. We can only focus on so much. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So what's a typical day like for you now, working in
Um,
Cymatics?
I wake up in the morning. So I got my morning routine. I have to like get my coffee in, relax, eat breakfast, all that shit. I have to think before I start my day. And then
Hmm.
honestly, man, I write down like 3 things I got to do for the day. And I literally just do those 3 things. And sometimes I get done with more. Sometimes I don't get done with as much. Some days I
Hmm.
work super hard. Some days I take like a half day. But like at the end of the day, it's kind of like a marathon. I don't try to do 1,000 things. Like I have like 3 main things. I'm like, dude, I gotta get done with these 3 things today, right?
Hmm.
And nowadays, I'm mostly in meetings. I don't have to do a lot of the hands-on work on almost anything in the company. It's just more managing. But my
Yeah.
day, my day consists of a handful of phone calls. You know, um, and I pretty much can manage everything. And I actually have a lot more fun actually talking to guys like you or Simon Cymatics, or like different YouTubers, or different producers helping people out. You know what I'm saying? Just because I got a lot of extra time. It's not.
Yeah.
It's more about, because we have a team that works so hard. Sometimes it's more about like having a really good strategy and like good ideas. You know what I'm saying? Good ideas are worth a lot. Don't let people fool you. It's not just all hard work. Like, if you're able to really pick your good ideas, because if you really slam on stuff, I mean, it really combos into the next thing. It picks up momentum for your company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. Do you still make music? Do you still produce and that, or like you're not that bothered no more?
Yeah, probably like, shit, I'll probably make like 2-3 songs a week. Some weeks I'll take a break for like 2 weeks, and then sometimes I'll just make more. I don't spend like 10 hours on a song like I used to. I mostly throw down ideas, but But yeah, man, it just depends on what I'm feeling. A lot of things that inspire me are usually new concepts, right? So, like, for example, if we're working on a new pack and Drew's telling me about it, he sends me over a bunch of shit that's working on, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make some shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, of course, I think that still making music is obviously a good thing. It kind of keeps you in touch. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. Jay Black came over one time, and I was moving so fucking fast in FL because I used to play StarCraft. So my APM, like, it's called actions per minute. I move fast as fuck, and I do the same thing in FL. And it was funny because Jay Black was like, "Holy shit, bro!" He was like, "I didn't even know you produce like this,"
Yeah.
But I don't spend as much time on it anymore. But I still cut the time out to make music. And honestly, one thing I've been doing more just actually listening to music. You'd be surprised at how much better you get at making music, but just listening to a lot of it. Drew listens to music for probably 3-4 hours a day, listening.
Damn, that's a lot.
Sometimes he'll listen to the same song for an hour. I'm not even kidding. He'll replay songs so many fucking times.
That's insane.
Yeah, if you want to get better at music, listening to a lot more music. And I mean, actively listening. Sure. Like actively listening to what's going on.
Trying to break down what's going on and stuff, like analyzing instead of just.
Yeah, because you'll find the small details in the 32nd time you listen to it.
That is a gem right there. So one thing that Cymatics does, you do these huge launches with a theme. Like one of them was getting old synths and analog gear and making samples around that. How does that come about? Like, how do you put all that together? Because that just seems crazy. That seems hectic.
I mean, so it starts off with like, dude, there's so many people. You release samples, I release samples. I mean, producer grind, Simon Cymatics, every single human being in the music industry is now putting out samples, right? So that's the first thing. The first thing is a bit of differentiation. Like, we're going to say, like, okay, what's different about our shit? You know what I'm saying? Why is this stuff actually better? Why are we charging so much more than these other people if it's the same shit? And that kind of like was one inspiration for us. We want to push it to like a interesting category. And honestly, man, producers care about sound. They care about the quality of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, at the end of the day, you know how excited producers get? Like, okay, if you tell producers like, hey, I ran this sample through like RC20 and it came out sounding super lo-fi, versus they see this old tape recorder thing and we tell them the story about this 1983 fucking tape recorder and we got this old tape and we're literally manufacturing stuff. People become intrigued in the story. It's like those YouTube videos that have a lot of build up to it. So for us, we tried to capture a certain concept in the music industry. Like Legends, for example, was all about the old synthesizers, almost like something that's like forgotten with a lot of newer producers. And be like, look, this stuff's really good, and let us show you why, and then let's take these old synthesizers, let's put them into a pack to where you can experience that. You know what I'm saying? And it's constantly about how can we make something better, and honestly, it keeps us not bored. If we did the same thing all the time, just melody pack, melody, we're gonna get bored. You see what I'm saying? Like we'll take less money to even do more interesting stuff for the team, so it's more fun, it's more exciting. Like, you know how much these guys love. For example, when like we have a Toronto studio, when we invest in a bunch of gear for up there, like those guys love playing with the old synthesizers with the new gear. Like our new thing is we're trying to make the hardest hitting drum pack, like nothing but bangers, right? And that's what I was telling you about that YouTube thing I wanted to do. But like pretty much, we want to make a drum pack that just slaps. Like if you're trying to make some really heavy stuff, if you're making soft stuff, it's not going to be good for it. And one of the things we start by doing is let's do our research. Let's ask around all our producer buddies, what do you guys use for drum processing? What are you guys doing? And we already got like all this different hardware we're purchasing, and the idea is like, hey, let's find the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Let's find the secrets here that are going to take these samples and take them from, you know what I'm saying, some normal shit to being like, wow, this stuff sounds really different. You know what I'm saying? And you see it in the hip hop industry. People just fucking steal samples and pass them around to each other. Literally nonstop. I'm like, dude, it doesn't even make sense to me because like in EDM, people call you out in 2 seconds, right? People just steal samples, pass them around. And that never made sense to me, first off. But also, like, we just think it's so much better. Let's figure out how we can create something new. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that 808 that's been passed around. We're going to find some new sauce in here. And once we find it, we're going to be the ones who know how to do it, replicate it. You know what I'm saying? And for us, like, there's a bit of our products that's like kind of feels like creating an album almost when we create one of these packs and stuff, because it's like to create like a pack with 500 melodies, you're essentially creating like 50 albums worth of music, maybe more, 100 albums worth.
Yeah.
So we have to approach it like very artistically. So one thing that I think a lot of producers listening to this should never be scared of, to buy some equipment, go in some weird direction with some either VSTs or some old school hardware or something like that. Because what's going to happen is that the reason we do it is we pick up these things and all of a sudden after the Legends project, for example, we now have all that hardware invested. So we now have this stuff to use for the future, but now we're familiar with it, right? And that knowledge is in our head. So whether we're trying to do something in a future project, we now have that skill to be able to bring out a certain type of sound. Right. Same thing for Project Dreams. It was all about these old vintage stuff. So we had a bunch of vintage like tape recorders and stuff and lo-fi, like real lo-fi, not like throwing RC20 on it, but like taking stuff and degrading the quality. Sometimes through a tape machine where the tape is literally coming out, running across the room and random shit and coming back in, and they're literally holding a lighter under the tape to degrade the quality. All kinds of crazy shit, But now that we know how to do that, and for example, with our drums, like, forever after this project, like our drums are already good, we spent a lot of time on them, but forever after this new project with how much gear we're investing in, we're going to now be at like even deeper level knowledge and know how to do some really interesting stuff. And essentially every single cool project we take on, we take all the skills to the next thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're always just leveling up.
So sometimes it's worth it to make less money, but to do something interesting that teaches you something for life.
Yeah. That's really cool. So what's next for Cymatics? Because I know you say you got plugins on the way. What's the new exciting projects that's coming up that you can tell us about? Yeah,
so we got one plugin today. We literally finally got the prototype, right? So the prototype meaning we can install the plugin, use it, start playing around with it. Drew's been taking a lot of notes. He's super pumped about it. He did like an hour-long call with one of our top producers. They just went through everything, and they passed the notes back to the guy who's working with us on these different plugins. He has a whole team. Somebody who's super talented. You might know him, Joey Sturgis. He's a super talented guy. He's working with us on plugins. A lot of his stuff is super well respected. But him and Drew are pretty much teaming up, going in on it. And I'm excited because we got this thing, and we got this thing, and it's not styled yet. We get the design made, you put the GUI on there and all that shit. But right now, we're really excited about venturing into that direction. Because it's almost like we're like Charmander, and then when we go into plugins, we're turning into like Charmeleon. You know what I'm saying? We're like evolving. Yeah. So I'm really excited about plugins. Packs wise, we got that pack coming out that's going to, like I said, try to be the hardest hitting drum pack we've ever done. We haven't done a solely like drum focus pack. It's usually been melodies or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. But in general, you're going to see Cymatics like probably pumping still like a lot of free stuff, taking our beat contest to the next level. I think that's a really exciting thing for the community. And then I think the big shocker is going to see us turn into like 2021 when we really start pumping these plugins, because our philosophy on it is like the first set we're doing is Drew asked two of our top producers, Andre and Nick. He said, hey, if you only had 5 plugins you could ever use on production, what 5 plugins would you pick? You know what I'm saying? And essentially we took those 5 plugins. We're like, okay, let's make those first. And what we did was, let's say there's something that like one of our producers does with like a compression chain where he uses this plugin, this plugin, this plugin, this plugin, and it does all very specific purposes. What we're doing, we're like, hey, let's take those 5 different processes and let's turn it into like one knob on this plugin that does a really amazing job. So each knob is essentially a collection of different processing techniques kind of all combined in one that does a very specific purpose and really will speed up workflow and give you a really good result. And it's going to be something that people, it's not only going to be something that's really good in terms of has a great sound. It's going to be very easy to use, but it's also still going to have enough complexity and freedom to do interesting stuff for people who are kind of higher level, like the sound design, like taking it to an interesting spot, can still kind of do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Because we've all seen those plugins that are fucking too complicated. You know what I'm saying? You can't do shit.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. You open up some of these plugins and it's basically it's like sound engineer speak. It's not really,
Yeah,
you know,
and then you got some
it's all
that
these words that you don't really
yeah.
understand.
And some of the one knobs are possible, but you still want to give a little more control than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, gonna be diving into that. Hopefully, doing a lot with that actually.
Mm-hmm. No, man, that sounds dope. Looking forward to seeing those plugins come out, man.
Hey, what about you, man? I feel like, it's funny, man. I knew about you, but I knew about you without knowing about you. All right. And the reason I'm saying that is that I saw your YouTube videos, but didn't even connect it to Ocean. I just saw like the one where you're making a video with your brother, like random videos I've seen, you know what I'm saying? Stumbled across just randomly on the related, but dude, I mean, even doing some promo together, dude. I mean, your audience is fucking diehard. Like, what's your plans with your Ocean channel and stuff?
I mean, for me, it's always. I definitely want to be more. I don't even want to call it like an industry producer, but I definitely want to get placements and start working with artists and that, developing artists as well. So for me, my channel, it's always going to be there, but I want it to be less of straight up tutorials and more just like having fun, challenges, vlogging, straight up just documenting the journey basically. But it's always going to be there, no matter what. Like I'm always going to be doing content because I really enjoy it as well. People like hate the editing, hate the filming and that. I actually enjoy it. It's just another creative outlet for me besides the music. So
the people that can do
I'm
YouTube,
always going to be doing that.
Yeah, people do YouTube, man. I really give it to them. I think there's a lot of potential. Literally, like for you, I would say fuck everything except for YouTube videos. And I would try to be the next fucking David Dobrik or Mr. Beast or whoever you look up to that does it really well. Casey Neistat, whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, dude, YouTubers, man, when you get at that big scale where you have a diehard audience that's dying to get every video and stuff, dude, I think it's so valuable.
Yeah, 100%.
And sometimes your brand deals are triple the price of a placement deal. You know what I'm saying? Like your brand deals per video. Like, dude, I know a guy he does quick 15-minute videos. He makes 25 G's a video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that.
No, there's definitely, I think YouTube, when it comes to the money, like 100%, it's there's way more potential than possibly getting the next placement. You're probably not going to make that much money off placements and until you're really popping, you're like a Jetson Maid or someone who's really up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for me, I'm still very much like the music is art. Like that's my art in it. Like I really wanna.
You gotta come to Atlanta.
I really
bro.
just wanna
try to get placements. You gotta come to Atlanta. Start networking in the studios.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe when I'm planning on coming when the the borders open and shit. 'Cause I got a lot of family there. I spent a lot of time in Atlanta.
Oh wait, you guys, people, are people allowed to come to US?
Nah. I'm pretty sure the border's completely closed right now.
That's fucked.
Well, I know so for the UK for
people
for
don't.
sure.
Let's be honest, man. People don't want people from America right now. They do not want people from America coming in because it's fucking coronavirus. Like people, Trump saying shit about blocking off China or whatever. I'm like, dude, nobody wants us right now. We can't even get to other places.
Can you leave the country if you wanted to?
Yeah, but half the countries won't accept us.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's only a handful of countries that will let you come.
I don't think we could get to UK. Jordan, can we go to UK right now?
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I think like the only country in Europe that you can go to is Croatia. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, interesting. Maybe you go to Croatia and you sneak in. We're gonna do a collab in Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Just out of curiosity, because you're from Atlanta, innit?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the scene there is like? Actually, let me get your opinion on this, because I always like to ask producers and stuff this. Do you think it's beneficial to stay in your city if it's a small city and just get it popping that way all over the internet? Or do you think it's more beneficial to go to a major city like in Atlanta and LA?
I think it depends heavily on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be a YouTuber, stay at home. If you're trying to do what I did, stay at home. If you're trying to do what you're trying to do placements wise, yeah, I'd probably go to Atlanta because it's a lot of relationship based. So it really matters on your end goal. If you're trying to do beat placements, that's why I think it's good. But if you're trying to do beat sales, right, like an e-commerce store essentially, and sell your beats online, just do it from home. Like you can do so much more networking just literally from your phone. You know what I'm saying? One of the best tools for networking, straight up, is a podcast. You like, for example, everybody wants to be interviewed. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, for me, when I was running my podcast, I was building connections left and right. You know what I'm saying? I think it all depends on what you're trying to do, your personality, all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of plays into it.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle, what you actually like to do and stuff. I think the answer is different for everybody. Do I think that like some producer hasn't made it yet because they didn't move to LA? Fuck no. You know, if you see where me and Drew live, we would live out in the middle of nowhere in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think you need to. No.
Fair point. But yeah, man. If for some reason people don't know where to find you and that, where can they find you? I'm sure everyone knows.
I would say Cymatics.fm. Cymatics.fm. Go download all their free shit. You know, we try to put out more free shit than other companies put out in general. You know, you can experience Cymatics without paying for any money, and if you like the free stuff, the paid stuff's even better.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and dropping some knowledge in that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
And that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode because it's full of a lot of gems, a lot of nuggets. If you want to check out Cymatics, go to cymatics.fm. They've got a lot of free resources for producers, free sample packs, ebooks, that kind of thing. Go check it out. As usual, if you enjoyed it, please take a screenshot of wherever you're listening from, tag me on Instagram @ProdByOcean, and I'll be reposting you all of my stories. That's about it for this one. I'll see you, or you hear from me. I always mess this up. You'll hear from me in the future.